All right, everyone. So the last video was about 4 things that you absolutely should do when you're thinking about purchasing a home. This video is going to be about 7 things that you absolutely should not do when you're thinking about purchasing. Number 1, don't make any major purchases. Buying furniture, a car, etc. Those types of purchases can affect your debt to income ratio, and that is something that we do not want to do. So make sure you avoid that at all costs if possible. Number 2, don't change your job. I know, I get it. Some jobs are annoying and we want to leave as soon as possible, but when you're in the process of purchasing a home or you're thinking about doing so sometime in the near future, you absolutely want to make sure that you are staying at that same job for a certain period of time because it just looks better on your application. Most mortgage lenders are looking for people to stay at their current employer for at least 2 years. So make sure you do not change your jobs because it then begins to look like you're unstable. Number 3, don't apply for any new credit cards. A lot of you may already know this, but when you apply for new credit cards, that goes on your credit record and it also can make you take a hit on your credit score. The last thing you want to do is reduce your credit score prior to applying for a new mortgage. And on the other end of the spectrum, but still very much so important, is number 4. Don't close any credit cards that you currently have open. I get it. Once you're done with a credit card, you don't like the terms, you don't like the interest rate, you don't like the company, you want to get rid of it. But when it comes to purchasing a new home, you absolutely want to make sure that you hold on to any credit cards that you have on your credit record. Number 1, it affects your credit utilization. Number 2, it also affects your credit history length. If you have a credit card that you've had for a good 10 years or so and you close it and your last credit card since then was 5 years ago, it now makes it seem as though you've only had 5 years of building credit rather than 10, and that's not good for your application. Number 5, do not make any large deposits without proper documentation. Now, I know that people think that if you're putting money into the account, that should be a good thing. Not necessarily. When you have money that's coming from outside of your actual source of income and it's about $5,000, $10,000 coming out of nowhere, your lender is going to wonder where that money is coming from. So unless you are able to verify where this money is coming from, do not do it because you will go through a lot of hassle trying to prove that this money is yours. It's not borrowed money, and if it is borrowed money, who gave it to you, why they give it to you, how much money does that person make, etc. It just goes down this long rabbit hole that you just want to avoid, period. Number 6, and I know a lot of people don't do this, and kudos to you if you do this, and you're such a great person, but in the case of purchasing a new home and getting a mortgage, do not, in any case or circumstance, co-sign for another person. The reason why you don't want to do this is because why? You never know what's going to happen. You don't know if the person is going to all of a sudden stop paying and then that obligation will be on you. Also, it's just another debt to income ratio situation, and you just don't want to mess up your credit in any way, shape, or form. So just until you purchase your home, do not co-sign on any loans or purchases for another person. And number 7, our final one. What you absolutely don't want to do, and a lot of people don't take into consideration, is you do not want to write off any losses. Okay? Now, I understand that for certain taxes and situations, you want to show that you're making a little bit less money because you've had all of these different expenses and etc. But I promise you that this will cause you a hassle in the application and approval process for your loan, and it will lead to you again having to explain, why did you take that loss? How much money are you making then? Will you be making this amount of money next year? So just to spare you from all of that, make sure that your tax returns are reflective of what you're currently making, and take the sacrifice paying the additional taxes for that year so that when you go through the application process, you don't have to worry about it. Now, these are all things that I've come across being a realtor. If you have any other tips of things not to do before getting a mortgage, please leave them down in the comments. If you have any questions, also leave them in the comments, or you can feel free to DM me. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.